All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome to another tutorial video. I am the Ultra Farmer, and in today's quick guide, I'm going to be going over production facilities within Farming Simulator 25. This is going to be for all platforms. This is with base game production facilities. Even though you might have mods in the future, everything I'm going to teach you today is going to kind of apply through everything. I'm going to teach you how the production facilities work, how the recipes work, how you're able to distribute some of your outgoing products to other production facilities, how you can sell directly from your production facilities, and kind of everything in between. So let's get into it. Let's get into production facilities, how they work, and how you can make them increase the value in your farm. Okay, so the two production facilities that I have sat down in front of me right now is the grain mill and the bakery. And what I have in these two trailers are trailerfuls of wheat. We've got a wheat field in the back there. I harvested it off, and we've got two trailerfuls of wheat. I'm going to show you how we can kind of take our wheat, create it into either flour or bread, and then take that production and send it down the line to the bakery and refine the product even more. We can refine our raw materials, our raw grains from our field into different products and then ship those products off and then refine them even one step further. So the controls that I'll kind of give you today are going to be for PC as I'm on PC, but if you need to find the corresponding controls for console, just come into your settings, come into settings, you can come over to controls and you can find the corresponding keys or keybinds to match your platform. So first, to set down one of these production facilities or any production facility, you got to go into the build mode. So on PC, you can do that by pushing Shift P on your keyboard, or if you just push P and you try to go into where your stores are, you can come down to these three horizontal lines, go into construction mode, and it'll bring you in. It'll probably show you sheds and stuff first, and you can just come down on this left tab, come down to this little kind of conveyor belt with arm icon, and right here, factories is the very first one. This is where you're going to find your production facilities to take in raw materials or maybe even refined materials and refine them further. So you can scroll through and you can find out what you're going to need for your farm. Now I'm going to use the bakery and stuff because we have wheat here, but if you have like an oil, say you have canola or something and you want to turn it into oil, you can use the oil mill. This paper factory, you're going to be putting in trees and you're going to be getting different stuff. The grape processing plant, obviously it'll take in grapes and you'll be able to make grape juice or raisins. So the way you check is you can just select one of these. You don't have to set it down, but you can just select and then you can come down here and it'll tell you the products. This arrow down is the products coming in and this little arrow up is the products going out. Now, if you get confused with these symbols and you're like, well, I don't really know, what these two little symbols are. I know that these are flour just because I've done this a bunch of times. But if you don't know, you can go into your if you push escape on your keyboard, you can come into this menu and you can go through and see all the corresponding symbols to the crops in here. Now this is just going to kind of give you the raw crops, but if you want to come over into this mode where your prices are, just click this little bar graph down here, prices, you can go through and you can find each corresponding symbol with not only like the kind of raw materials that you can get from farming, but also some of the refined ones. Like here's the symbol for butter, and if we come down into the F's, it's all in alphabetical order. Right here is the flour. The other symbol that was in that I know is rice flour, so we just got to come down to R, rice flour. And again, this is where you can kind of find all the symbols if it gets confusing. You also, while we're in here, are able to check the prices of things. So if you take like your example, your wheat per 1,000 liters in the best month, it's worth 1,100 bucks. And if we come down and we check our flour, in the best months, it's worth 2,400 bucks per 1,000 liters. So you can see how the price increases as you refine things further and further. And from the flour, what we could refine to is the bread, and as you can see, the bread per 1,000 liter is now almost at 6,000 at its peak months in December. So this is where you can check your prices of everything that you want to refine before you set down your production facilities. But once you set your production facility down, you just select it, and you can just kind of bring it anywhere on your map. You can put it down. You just left click on your mouse. I already have one sit down here, so I'm not going to do it. But you'll set it down, and then your production facility isn't working just quite yet. You have to go in and you have to turn some settings on. So what you want to do, you can do this two ways. You can come up to the production facility and you can find this little wrench icon and you can push R on your keyboard. Or if you're not near your production facility, I'm just going to go away so it's not loud in our ear. You can push escape on your keyboard. And as you come down the side here, you can come into the production facilities. If you click this arrow, it'll tell you ones that are available, the ones that are owned. You can see on our farm, we have the grain mill and we have the bakery. So let's get into these settings and let's start understanding what all this is, what the recipes are, and how it works. So basically on this side, the incoming products, this is going to be the products that you can bring into the production facility. Seems pretty self-explanatory. We could put barley in here, oats, rice, sorghum, and wheat. And from that, we can create flour or rice flour based on bringing this stuff in. The rice flour is obviously going to come from the rice, the long grain rice, and the regular rice, and the flour is going to come from your wheat, sorghum, oats, and barley. So now once we come down here and we know what's coming in and going out, now we can check the recipe. So let's go down to wheat, since that's what we have, and we can see that every 5 wheat that we input, we're getting 4 flour out. So this is the recipe. This is a one-time recipe, and it's going to cycle this many times per month. So if I take my calculator, which I will right now, and if I take 5 wheat times 25, 20, this is telling me that it's going to, this factory will take 12,600 liters of wheat and it will convert it into flour. Now it won't convert it into flour completely. I'd have to times that by about 90% because that's what we're going to get. So roughly around, we would be getting around 11,340 liters of flour, roughly. Now, so you can go through and you can calculate what your production facility is going to output each month based on the amount of incoming that you have. And then you can find some mods later on that'll kind of increase your production facility's capabilities. I'm not going to get into those mods right now, but we're just going to stick to base game and kind of just the simple walkthrough of how this all works. So now that we're on our wheat and we understand that we're going to be putting in 5 times or 5x wheat and we're going to be getting 4x flour out, and that cycle is going to run 2,500 times in 1 month, we now want to start this. We want to get this cycle. We want to get our production going so that it is going to take in the wheat and it's going to transform it into the flour. So what you do then is you come down here and you want to click on activate. And it's going to, as soon as you click activate, if you have put nothing in your production facility, you're going to see this red exclamation mark, and it's going to tell us that your status is that it's missing material. If I click deactivate, it's now inactive. But if we click activate, now it is running and it's missing material. We haven't put anything to our production facility yet. So down here we have a mode that's called change output mode, and that's going to change what this production facility does. So right now we have it set on storing. That means that all of the flour that is created, all of the outgoing products that is created is going to be stored within this production facility. And right here it tells us that it'll store up to 60,000 liters of this product. Once you hit a full capacity of this, your production facility will just stop working. Even if you put more wheat in and stuff, it will get to a point where it can't produce anymore because you got to do something with this flour. You either got to take it off and sell it, or you got to send it to another production facility. And the way that you do that is a couple ways. Now, if you put storing, what's going to happen is you're going to input your grain here, and on this backside, pallets of flour are going to spawn out right in this area. And so you could pick these pallets up and take it off and sell them. You could pick these pallets up and you could put it into this drop-off area at the bakery, and then you can come into your bakery, and we're going to go to our wrench icon, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go in and we're going to look and we're going to see what can we do with flour, right? What can we do with flour? And so if we look right on the very top one here, bread, what does bread need? What is the recipe for us to create bread? Well, it needs 90 flour and it'll create us 45 bread. So what we can do is we want to activate this production facility. We're going to activate this. We want bread to start being created as soon as flour comes in here. And so what I want to do now, this one is just sitting waiting. It's obviously missing material. We have it set, and we're going to keep it on storing. We want all our bread to store in here just right now. So I'm going to go back over to our other production facility. Let's click on this wrench. Let's go in. And now what we want to do is we want to take all the flour that's created out of this and we want to ship it over to that other production facility. We want to ship it to the bakery so as soon as it goes in there, it can start getting created to bread. So what we're going to do there is we're going to change the output mode. We're going to come down here and you can either push space or you can click right down here, putting it on selling. So if we have it on selling, it's just going to automatically sell it at whatever price we're currently at. So if we put it on selling, it's going to go through and it's going to sell wheat at whatever the kind of averages of these prices. It's just going to automatically sell it for you. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to get it to the next production facility. So we're going to come back. We're going to click on wheat. Now I'm going to push space on my keyboard and I'm going to set it to distributing. So now what it's going to do is it's telling the game to ship it to the bakery, to ship it to the next available production. If you accidentally have it on this setting and you have no production facility for it to go to, it will just automatically go into the storing mode. It will just automatically store it. But we want to set it on distributing. So what I'm going to do though real quick is I'm going to dump some of this grain in, and then we're going to show how this whole system works. So I'm going to back this case trailer up. We're going to take this full 12,100 liters of wheat, and we're going to dump it in the production facility. And then we're going to sleep through a night, and I'm going to show you how everything works. Now, we're not going to end up having any flour in here. It's going to get shipped straight over to the next production facility. And if I can back onto this correctly, there we go, there we go. Let's dump this in there. Now I'm going to push escape on my keyboard. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to come back to my productions. We're going to check on the grain mill. And as you can see, we've got some wheat coming in there right now. If I push escape, get back onto the map, I'm going to let the final little bit of dump in there. Perfect. We should have 12,000, just a little bit spilt on the ground there. We should have had 12,100 liters. And as you can see, this cycle has already started. It started to start creating the wheat. Or flour rather. There's 2 liters of flour that's being created. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sleep through a month, and what we're going to see is a bunch of pallets are going to spawn outside of this bread factory from our bread that gets made. A whole bunch of wheat is going to get turned into flour. That flour will be shipped to the bakery, and a whole bunch of bread is going to come from there. So let's sleep through into the next month. I'll bring you back in November, and I'll show you how all that works. All right, and we are back. We've got some bread outside of our bakery. There should be no pallets have spawned outside of our grain mill, which is perfect. Let's go into our productions and just have a look at everything. So in our grain mill, we have no wheat left in here, or barely any wheat. We have a little bit of flour, not enough to create a full pallet or a full load. Once that gets to 1,000 liters, then it would ship off to the bakery so that it could be worked through. We're looking at our flour. There's a little bit in here, but again, not enough to make a full pallet of bread. And it's telling us that we only have 786 liters of bread in the production facility, but it doesn't actually account for what's sitting outside. So whenever you're calculating how much your production facility will hold, usually in the spawn area, there's going to be different sizes of the spawn areas, but this looks like it would hold 8 pallets. So that means it would hold 8,000 liters of bread outside, plus on the internal 55,000 liters. So now what we want to do is I want to go through. I'm actually going to just do this. We're going to move these pallets out of the way. I'm going to move these pallets out of the way. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to do the exact same thing, but instead of setting my bread to selling or to distributing, we're going to push it to selling. One thing to keep in mind, I'll kind of explain this after, actually. Give me 1 second, I'll kind of explain it after. But what we're going to do is we're going to we have 2 of these trailers are the exact same size. So we know that if we put in 12,100 liters of wheat, we will roughly get 4 full pallets, 4,000 liters out of that production in bread. If we put 12,000 liters of wheat in, we get 4,000 liters of bread out when we do our system of shipping it through the grain mill and then into the bakery. So what I want to do now is I want to set all of this the same. We're going to keep distributing the flour once it's made and put it to the bakery. And we're going to change this to selling. Okay, we're going to sell off all the bread that comes in here. We're not going to have anything spawn out in those pallet zones. One thing to keep in mind too, if there is stuff in that pallet area, the output area, and then you switch it to selling, the game will not sell those pallets. Any pallets that spawn outside of the factory will not be automatically sold. You would still have to load those up and sell them. It's just going to be whatever is created in the factory. Instead of putting it to a pallet, it will sell it. So we've got this on sell mode. We're going to go in and we're going to go look at our prices. Now our prices of bread are roughly $5,400 per 1,000 liters. So let's go through, let's hit selling, and let's see exactly how much money we get from dumping in the exact same amount of grain. We're going to get roughly 4 full pallets. Let's see how much money we make from that. Okay, we are back now. We're back now. It is out, it's December. We're outside the factories. No pallets have spawned here, just the 4 that we had originally. Nothing spawned there. And let's go check and see how much cash we made. It's kind of hard to tell with the funds that I have sitting there. But if we go into escape, and what you can do is you come down into the side here, just above your settings cogwheel. And what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to look at sold products. So between November and December, it kind of splits it into both months, but we made roughly $29,000, 20,800 plus another 8,000. It'd be 20,800 from all that bread. So if we take our calculator, and the average price was roughly $5,400. and we times that by 4 because that was roughly what we got for each pallet. That gives us 21,600. Now, since we had a little bit of wheat and flour left over in there, we probably ended up getting another full pallet. We probably somehow, through all of like the kind of leftover stuff, we probably ended up getting 5. And so if we did that times 5,400, that then puts us at 27,000. So that's how you do it. That is everything that you need to know basically about production facilities. It's going to be the exact same whether you're using, the oil mill or any of these slurry productions. The slurry ones are a little bit different. I have a video on that explaining because these can get a little bit confusing. But for all these other ones, your dairy, you're going to put in milk, you're going to get bottled milk. Some things you can only refine once, and some things you can do multiple times, like how we've taken our grain and turned it into flour, then the flour to bread. If you have stuff like wool, you can turn it into fabric, which then you can turn it into clothing, and it's just one step further of refinement. Some things you kind of do once, and that's about it for base game stuff. There's lots of mods out there, but like once you turn canola into canola oil, there's sometimes that's all you can do with it. You might be able to make, fries or potato chips with other mods and different production facilities, but again, just something for you to play with. But the actual principle behind it, the recipes, how you distribute it, how you store it, that is all the same. So hopefully you guys learned something. If you did, if this video did help you out, make sure and hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If this video did help you out, leave me a comment section, or leave me a comment below if I missed anything or something wasn't clear. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it like always. If you want to see how I actually use these productions in gameplay series, make sure and go check out the playlist on my channel with all our gameplay series, and you can see this stuff kind of live in effect with the farms that I built. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it like always. Hopefully you have a good afternoon, morning, evening, whenever it is that you're watching this. I am the Ultra Farmer, and I will see you on the next video.